Alright, so the good time story that I got tonight, I don't know if I could really call it a story. It's more like a recollection, I guess. Because there's so many good times and lots of bad. But a lot of my bad times came from good times. So if you know me pretty well, high school for me was a terrible experience for me. I did not fit in any cliques whatsoever. I had terrible relationships with girls, and I felt like I just did not belong. And so I would just stay at my house, don't even get out, be on my Xbox and talk to random strangers I don't even know that live miles and miles away. But there was one summer break, I went to a birthday party for a friend that didn't go to the same school as me. At that party, I met someone that became essentially my brother for life. His name's Cody, and me and Cody at that party, we kind of just kicked it off from there because at that time he was a wrestling fan like I was, and in high school, you tell people you like wrestling, oh, you watch that fake crap, and they'll make fun of you. But I thought it was cool that I knew someone that liked wrestling like I did. So, we kind of, got along great because of it. And so I added him on Facebook, but never heard from him till a few months, after summer was over. And, he messaged me out of the blue one day saying, hey, we should hang out sometime. And I got this thing that I do with my friends every weekend, and we wrestle if you want to be a part of it. Now, it really intrigued me at first because, I want to be a part of something, fun like that. But at that time, I was still depressed. I didn't want to get out because I was not much of a sociable person. So I kind of just brushed it off. And plus, it was like, man, it'd be cool, but I wonder if they really hurt each other. And you gotta think, my friends, or him for that matter, was from the ghetto, so it was like, man, even if I were to wrestle him, like, he probably whooped me in a fight, being realistically, because he's pretty swole. So, but, I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. So, months later, next summer break that it was, he messages me again saying, hey, you still want to do this? And I was bored out of my mind one day. I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. So I didn't have a car at the time, but luckily it was walking distance to meet him at Sonic. So I met up with him at Sonic, met some of his friends that he does wrestling with. And, they seem like pretty cool people. And, I told him, yeah, I'm not going to wrestle, but is it cool if I, I don't know, be an announcer or commentate the matches? And he was like, yeah, sure. We can use someone like that. So we go over to his friend's place, which is half a mile away from my house. So it's cool, walking distance. I can just walk over there. Don't have to get a ride. So that day, I just remember having the most fun that I've had in my teenage years because I had no one in high school to really hang out with, and it was just cool getting out of the house, hanging out with him, and doing something fun. And it was just one of those things where it seemed like he was there for me from the very start. And I felt like I never really had that. And, after that day, I started hanging out with them more. And it was like after school, all right, I got something fun to look forward to after school because he lived nearby. I could just walk to his place, hang out with them, because everyone else in high school had their own cliques. I didn't hang out with anyone, so hung out with them, and we did the wrestling thing every weekend. And so months go by, you know, we grow up, we get older, we stop doing the wrestling thing, but like because of him, I met so many great friends through that wrestling show that he did with his friends, and they're all, great friends of mine to this day still. And I really thank him for that. And even though we don't like wrestling much now, we're all adults, his number one passion is cars. And while cars are cool and all, just his passion for cars really motivates me to be the best at whatever I want to do with my life. Whether it's at the job I work, I want to be the best person for that job. Whether it's telling a story like I am right now, I want to be the best at telling my story, or at least make my story really good to the point, I really love the story I told tonight. And, just having that mindset, just being friends with someone that has goals for themselves and is passionate about something they do is people you should really be associated with, because there's just so much to life, because you're on this life for the reason, basically, and you want to live the good life, not the bad life. Yeah, there'll be bad times, but the good will outweigh the bad if you are around people that motivate you to be the best. And because if you're not with someone, or you're associated with people that don't have goals for themselves, or they, just don't, have any passion, it's like, what are you doing with your life? Like, that's just the way I've seen it. And, I appreciate for what he's done for me. He's always been there for me, since day one, always had my back. And he's really the only friend that's met everyone in my family. So I guess that's the good times that I've had with my brother. So